For the next 2 months, while they are preparing to swear in the president, we do nothing and say nothing. We let them swear in the president. Then, as soon as he's sworn in, we welcome him and we give him our letter and ask him to respond to it. That's it. That's the way to fight this kind of fight. Straightforward, open, dedicated, focused. So that's it. Does that mean that Tinubu will grant us our... No, it doesn't mean so. But it will mean that the world can see that we are serious. Listen, can we be anything but serious? The Fulani said they want to conquer us. They are pouring Fulani people in from all over West Africa. They are building up a war chest in the trillions of naira, stolen from the Nigerians, as a war chest which means they are going to fight and conquer us. If their plans go, all the Fulani hideouts in the forests will become Fulani towns and emirates very soon from the money that they have stolen. No. We cannot stay in the same country with such a people.
Akí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olóòfẹ́ apàdà sórí ìkànnì Yorùbá Space TV níbi tá a ti máa ń mọ àwọn ètò àti ìròyìn wá fún yín lórí ọkọ̀ òjọ̀kan gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri Nàìjíríà pàápàá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ti wa. Ẹ wo tó bá jẹ́ ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ tí yín rè lórí ìkànnì yìí ẹ bá wa subscribe ẹ sì má gbàgbé láti tẹ bọ́tìn kékeré tó dàbí àgbo yẹn tí yóò máa ta yín lóko nínú ìgbà tá a bá ti mú fídíò tuntun wá síta. Ẹ wo èyí tá a tún fún wa fún yín lónìí àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ni ó yá ẹ wá lọ bó ṣe ń lọ ẹnì tó ní bẹ́ẹ̀.
Kí gbogbo yín o.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sà.
Ẹ káàbọ̀.
Mo kí yín lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá olóko lómi o. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o. A kú múra new country wa o. Wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe Nàìjíríà tó ń dojúrú ní country tiwa súnmọ́lé. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà túbọ̀ máa dojúrú o kí country wa bàá lè tètè dé.
Àmín o.
What is your initial reaction as a Nigerian?
You are asking a question. Election presidential election.
Kí ni reaction yín, sir? Kí ni reaction yín to that?
What's the question you want to ask?
I want to ask you what's your take on it?
What do you want to ask about that?
What I want to ask about
What's my take on it?
Yes.
It's about the most confusing election in a country of usually confusing elections. That's all I can say. The most confusing election in a country of usually confusing elections. That's all I can say about it.
Okay.
Even the chairman of the Electoral Commission admitted that some things are not right. So I don't know. It's very difficult for any sane person to make meaning out of it all.
Okay. Joining me in the studio is also Dr. Fajakin. Dr. Fajakin, what's your take on it?
Daddy tẹ́ bá ń gbóhùn mi mò ń kí yín o ẹ káàsán sà ẹ káalẹ́ níbi tẹ́ bá wà mí mọ time lọ́dọ̀ yín. Okay sir. Yes sir. Janet Fashakin ló ń kí yín. Mo dẹ̀ kí yín náà bàbá Ọ̀túnba ẹ ṣé for asking me to come and I say hello to everybody out there. May the Lord bless you. Kí ni reaction mi sí just concluded presidential election?
No, mo ń bá bá yín sir, mo ń bá padà bá yín General Fajakin jọ kàn fẹ́ contribute ni mo ń bá bá yín sin sir. Dr. Fajakin.
Anyway, okay, my reaction is of total indifference. Total indifference in the sense that nothing changed. Nothing has ever changed. With all the elections that I've watched in my grown adulthood, I don't think anything has changed. Nothing has changed in terms of rigging. Nothing has changed in terms of the Electoral Commission's total unpreparedness. I was expecting something better because of these beavers that it's already pre-programmed and you can know how many people registered, how many of them voted. But when I started hearing over voting with beavers, I know that Nigeria is done for. So it's a total indifference. Nothing new.
Thank you. I will agree with you and also agree with Papa, because to have nothing to show for 60 something years of conducting election in Nigeria is a shame. It's a thing of shame. It's something that an average 21-year-old children can never understand. Why is it so difficult?
Otumba,
Yes, sir.
you count the years, but the years are not the thing working in Nigeria. There is a tradition that was established in 1959
Okay, sir.
to the effect that all the electioneering campaign and so on is just romancing the public. That the real voice that will decide the winner of an election, and therefore the next government, is the people ruling now. You are ruling now, you decide the government. The British were ruling then in 1959 and they decided the election. And they handed it to the Fulani and told them the same thing, gave them the same tradition. The electioneering campaign and running around is just romancing the public. The real thing is that whoever is ruling now decides the result of an election now, and therefore who will rule tomorrow. And that's what they've been following rigidly, without bending right or left. That's what has happened in this election too. That's all. It is the same thing. They have changed the electronic voting, but they have changed in such a way that some people can interfere with it and make one person win or one person lose. So it is not 60 years of experience. It's just one single experience that is being multiplied again and again and again.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And to me, it makes a lot of sense, because like another thing, when you keep repeating the same stupid thing, you keep getting the same stupid results. And I have no doubt, but let's start by talking about, do we now go ahead to make or take whatever we have, because this our own journey is the most important thing to you and I, sir, and to many others, millions of,
that's true.
you know. And
that's true.
But then again, we are now also agree universally that this is a political process. Do we take whoever emerges, because we are not going to know who's the president until the 29th. Yes, we have a president elect who is a Yoruba origin. We can start the debate, the talking about him. Sir, if by 29th of May, which, well, God willing, Bola Ahmed Tinubu now became substantial president of Nigeria, independent of all what you know that's going on. What should we be? What should we make out of that? Do we start to?
Well, we will. He's our brother. We congratulate him, and then we face him with what we have already sent to the president of Nigeria. Is president of Nigeria? The president of Nigeria doesn't change, doesn't die.
Okay.
We sent a letter to Buhari, a long and carefully worded and respectful letter, but very, very factual letter, and asked him respectfully to set up some sort of arrangement whereby the representatives of the government of Nigeria and the representatives of the Yoruba people will meet and negotiate, so that we can do what we call a party negotiation. We can share assets and liabilities and so on and so forth. That's it. So we're going to put the letter in front of our brother Bola Tinubu, and we need to do so advisedly, because if we don't do so, the world can only come to the conclusion that we are abandoning the self-determination struggle because we have a president. That what we were looking for all the time was just to have the president, but that's not true. So we must let the new president know what we are looking for, what we want, and what we expect him to do. We sent our letter to President Buhari. He received it, and he disdainfully put it away without even acknowledging a receipt of it. We are now going to put the same letter before somebody who cannot disdainfully put our letter away, and who cannot disrespect the whole of the Yoruba nation. 60 million people are speaking to the president of their country, and the president of our country is treating them as if they don't exist. That's Buhari. But when there is another president, we are going to put the same letter before him in the absolute confidence that he is not going to treat us as if we don't exist.
Fantastic. Very good, sir. Viewers, while we're waiting, we have another contributor who just joined us to say he's a lawyer, a jurist. Alagbataiwo Dumosu, you are welcome to my show, to this show tonight. It's my pleasure having you. I don't need to introduce the other Agbejoros in the studio. I also have Yoruba Chaki, who is a well-known figure to you. And Baba, of course, Baba is the main guest in this show. I brought two of you. When I get to the area of the legal rulings, the court judgment, I'll get there very soon. But let me quickly take your reaction to the last general election. Alagbataiwo Dumosu.
It's muted.
Unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Otunba. Inú mi dùn láti wá sí orí platform yìí. Mo kí àwọn sister wa, Dr. Janet Fashaki. Mo kí other participants and then our father too, Professor Akintoye. Well, thank you, sir. Wọ́n ti ṣe election yẹn, ó ti wáyé, ó dẹ̀ ti lọ. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn fílàs tá a gbọ́. Inú mi dùn personally wípé kì í ṣe bí àwọn kan ṣe fẹ́ kó rí ló ṣe rí, torí wípé ilẹ̀ wa ó jẹ wá lógún. A lè sọ pé à ń ja ìjàngbara kí ilẹ̀ yẹn kó bọ́ sí ọwọ́ àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé ìjà tí à ń bá àwọn kan jà la máa tún ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jà ìgbà tí a bá gba ìjàngbara yẹn tán. So inú mi dùn pé bó ṣe lọ yẹn ó dára bẹ́ẹ̀.
Thank you. And like Baba said, kini wa ó yàtọ̀ sí kini mi abáyọ̀ máa sọ ẹ jẹ́ help me ó yàtọ̀ sí kini. Yes, and tó jẹ́ àwa lógún gbọ̀ngbọ̀n òun ni area of our decision to part, like Baba, let me borrow his word, that we want to go. We have the right, we have all the reasons, more than enough to justify the reason why we say let us just part ways, And I have no doubt in my mind also that it's going to help other national tremendously, not only the Yoruba. And also the last election clearly shows unless our confirm Torawa, Nigeria can one become. The truth of the matter is people have voted according to their ethnicities, and they are still doing it. Apart from the little controversy that's happening in Lagos, which I think some great number of people either know what they are doing or they don't know what they are doing. Let me go to Dr. Papa Mbaba Insa. Dr. Fasaki, the way things are now, Papa said we can now use the opportunity to take advantage of what we have to get what we want. What do you say to that?
Yeah, Moki, my learned colleague, Barrister Udumusu. I quite agree with the two speakers, Baba and Barrister Udumusu, for what they have said. Yeah, I mean, we can use what we have to leverage what we want, absolutely. And the only reason why that had been difficult with the outgoing regime was because the person there came with an agenda to favor his own people over the rest of the country. And we can see the way he did it with impunity, without any apology to anything. And part of it was writing a letter to him. Even a total idiot knows that when something is sent to you, you acknowledge for whatever it is. Dear so-and-so, we acknowledge the receipt of your letter. We will contact you in due course with our response. Simple and ordinarily like that. But I wouldn't blame him. I would blame those who are there to do something like that. People like Femi Adesina, people like what's the other man, Lai Mohammed, who are the people who are supposed to help the president. The president can't do everything. And even as a director of any corporation, you don't answer everything. You have people that you put there to do that for you. So, but when you put non-entities in a place, the power misruled, that's the kind of thing you get, ignoring millions of people that made up the Nigeria that you said you are ruling over. So, but with the one that came now, with the new president, who happened to also be a Yoruba person, I hope he too we put the right foot forward. Like Baba said, they're going to send the same letter to him. I'm hoping that he will put together people of intelligence, people who know about diplomacy, people who know how to treat others with dignity, not with reckless indifference. So I'm hoping that we get something from him. But let me be quick to say that, I always say, I'm always with my own thoughts, even right from this agitation. Those who know me, they know I stand in my own corner. And sometimes I wish I was wrong. But we always, at least 50% of the time, come out that I'll be right. Let me be quick to say this, that if anybody would think that President-elect Ahmed Tinubu will subscribe to the notion of dividing the country and allowing the Yorubas to go and allowing the Igbos to go, I don't see that happening. But it can set the tone. It can put us in the way forward in which we'll be able to accomplish it at some time in the nearest future. And part of what I believe we will do, I might be wrong, part of what I think it will do is to try restructuring, starting from the reckless and useless constitution that we have there. And I'm so surprised that on the eve of Buhari leaving office, he started making amendments that I believe will favor his people going forward. I've not read that amendment, but I was just wondering, you've been there for 8 years. So what amendment are you now putting on the eve of your leaving the office? So which means he could have done something all this while that people have been agitating. He could have done something to remove whatever part of that constitution that is causing apprehension for the other tribes. But he chose not to do that because he came there on the agenda of his own people, not for the entire country, but for his own people. So that's just what I'm going to say to that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fashakin. Let me move swiftly to the next area I want to discuss tonight. Now, I'm sure by now the gubernatorial election, Papa, this is for you, sir. I'm sure the gubernatorial election will be coming to an end now. I don't know what the time is. I don't know how long, whether they've extended it or not. But we are going to have a set of governors again. And this brings the issue of what we discussed a couple of years ago, Papa. And I want to reiterate exactly what somebody like me and others agreed, especially Dr. Fashakin, that we said. Now, the set of people that are going to come in all the southwest area of our land that we are looking forward to have, they're going to be Yorubas. I mean, I cannot imagine that any of the candidates, even though there's this controversy over Lagos, that there's one Igbo among the candidates, but I'm believing that Yoruba, whoever emerges there, can only be Yoruba, whatever the mask they put on anybody's face. The question again, sir, isn't it right to have been part of that game in such a way that we have our own candidates? This is an open discussion, sir. That if we had our own candidates, we could have won all those states if we want to be in control of that place. If we had our own candidates, what is benefit? What is the advantage and disadvantage of that? If you have chosen, why do we choose and why do we not choose, sir?
It is easy to enter into that kind of conjecture. It's reasonable. It's not unreasonable at all. But the thing is, you must know the context in which you are making that kind of conjecture. The Nigerian situation is one in which since 1970, 1978, 79 till now, a system of control and emasculation has been put to play. The idea is the Fulani don't have the numbers to rule the country, but they are ruling the country now, and for them to be able to continue to rule the country, they need to use something. What they were using before is the combination of the North and the Middle Belt. Now, with Gawan panicking and creating states, they could no longer use the Middle Belt and the North. So the North alone is not enough. So they have to sit and ask themselves, well, how shall we continue our ownership, our holding on Nigeria? And they came to the conclusion that, fortunately, God has put some instrument in our hand. That's oil money. The oil money gushing in. We just let everybody steal as much money as they want without anybody doing anything to them. And they will all surrender to us and let us control them. And that's exactly what has happened. The southern elite has simply surrendered to the money that is coming to them. They are stealing money, and they are confident that nobody is coming to ask them as long as they are good boys to the northern, to the Fulani. If they make a mistake of saying anything or doing anything that remove the little from their obedience to the Fulani, they will be in serious trouble instantly. EFCC, etc., will be after them. So that is it. It doesn't matter whom you choose. It doesn't matter what is their philosophical and ideological position before they were elected. Once they are elected and they're immersed in this still enjoy yourself and be okay system, you cannot be sure that they will do what you want. You cannot be sure. In fact, they may make the self-determination struggle more difficult, because this will now be boys of your own, ideological standing, boys with whom you have been holding meetings about how to get Yoruba nation, boys who have been running around about the Yoruba nation. You now make them a governor in a very, very terrible situation. They'll be seeing money and taking money, and the possibility that we can continue to control them, really, that is not there. A few weeks after I returned to Nigeria, BC Akade invited me to his house. And so I went, and we spent the night there because it's very far from Ibadan, and it was raining heavily. So and he said to me during dinner in his house, Baba, the reason I was asked to invite you, the reason I have invited you to my house today is that I have a message to deliver to you. I've been asked to ask you to come and be a leader of APC, so that you'll be a counter to all these Adebanjo and so on who are so hostile to the APC. And I said, and we in APC will take good care of you. So I told them, I'm sorry that I'm busy. I go with that down there. There's nothing you can ask me to do to my refuse, but because I don't want to play partisan politics anymore. I believe the only reason I came back to Nigeria is that God wants me to come and do something for the Yoruba people, not in the arena of partisan politics. Yeah, made Loniru gumption totally sorry. I'm going to transfer from we are going to take good care of you. I know what it means. I know it means that I will end up becoming a billionaire, that I will have a beautiful house somewhere in Lekki, perhaps also in London, and so on and so forth. I knew all of that. We will take care of you. That's what it means. But if I had accepted, I would have betrayed my pledge to my God. No. Don't imagine that winning election with our ideology of self-determination will be enough to keep our boys faithful if they win the election. Don't believe so. Okay. My brother, don't. Because I know what is happening. Yeah, I know some of the boys in the government now, boys that are taught in university, or boys whose senior brothers are taught in university, and who in the ordinary, are nice young men, decent fellows, well brought up, who went into the government and just became one of them. Doesn't care what is happening to his people. Because he knows that if he were to open his mouth and begin to say the truth about what is happening to his people, he will be offending his masters who are letting him steal the money. So he doesn't talk about what is happening to his people. No.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't talk. Yeah. He doesn't say. Have you ever had any, except Akeredolu has done it once or twice, especially now that he doesn't have to contest an election again. Have you ever had a Yoruba governor complaining that Fulani people are ravaging our farms and killing our farmers and raping our women? They won't do it, because if they do it, they will run into trouble with the masters who let them steal money. So that's the truth of the situation. That is gone. By the grace of God, it is gone. Let us face what we are doing. And what we are doing is not as difficult as you think. It only needs dedication, steadfastness, focus. And if we have all of that, we can get our country in the next few months by the grace of God. And the thing to do is, for the next 2 months, while they are preparing to swear in the president, we do nothing and say nothing. We let them swear in the president. Then, as soon as he's sworn in, we welcome him and we give him our letter and ask him to respond to it. That's it. That's the way to fight this kind of fight. Straightforward, open, dedicated, focused. So that's it. Does that mean that Tinubu will grant us our... No, it doesn't mean so. But it will mean that the world can see that we are serious. Listen, are we be anything but serious? The Fulani said they want to conquer us. They are pouring Fulani people in from all over West Africa. They are They are building up a war chest in the trillions of naira stolen from the Nigerians as a war chest, which means they are going to fight and conquer us. If their plans go, all the Fulani hideouts in the forests will become Fulani towns and emirates very soon from the money that they have stolen. No. We cannot stay in the same country with such a people. Even if Odua himself were to wake up from the grave and come and be president of Nigeria, we will still need to get our people out of Nigeria. The road forward in Nigeria is downwards for the Yoruba people and downwards into perdition and destruction. We cannot stay in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. So the important thing is to find our strategy for getting there. The idea of creating a contest election, about winning election, yeah. But would we have gained all that we expect to gain from that?
Okay.
Oh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Well, you are speaking.
I'm in contact with a lot of people, all these young governors.
Yeah.
Yes,
sir.
When I came, almost everyone, governor,
yes, sir.
And they are not thieves by nature. They were not brought up to be thieves, but they're in a situation in which that's the name of the game, and you just play it with them.
The structure allows it. The structure allows it.
So,
okay.
Wondering what would have happened. Let us now wonder what will happen. What should we do? And what we should do is what I've just suggested. Keep quiet for now. Let them install the president. By the grace of God, let it be Tinubu, our own man. Then we will be able to do with him, to do to him what we did to the president. We were rebuffed and treated as if we don't exist. And we know that he cannot treat his Yoruba people as if we don't exist. I'm sure we can make a lot of traction from the situation if we are careful. We are not criticizing Tinubu. It's not, that's not the thing. We are talking about our condition in Nigeria. The Fulani say they are ready to keep fighting for decades or even centuries until they have subdued us. Are we ready to stay in a country where some people will be fighting us for the next decades or the next century? No, nobody can tell us to stay in Nigeria. No sensible person, nobody who has a little bit of charity in him will say, stay in Nigeria, in the light of what the Fulani are threatening to do. That's it. For instance, I ask myself, when President Tinubu takes over, or whoever president, doesn't matter, there is one big question. What are you, sir, Mr. New President, going to do about the federal establishment into which the Fulani president has pushed Fulani almost 100%? What are you going to do about the security services, the army, the navy, the air force, the secret services, the immigration services, the post authority, etc., into which Fulani alone have been? How are you going to remove them? Are you going to wage a war in order to remove them? What are you going to do? These are big things that we must watch out and see. Who is going to be able to remove all the hundreds of people, Fulani people who have been put into very key positions in Nigeria? It's not going to be easy. Tinubu is a wily and politician. He's a very capable politician. But even he, I doubt, will find it extremely difficult to handle the situation. That's one thing. Two, one thing that, we must pray that God will guide him. Another thing is this. The Fulani, Buhari said that anybody can come from Africa into Nigeria without travel document, without visas, no passports, nothing. And that was a secret message to the Fulani to start coming. And they have been coming in their hundreds of thousands. And all the gates in the north, about 37 different border gates have been opened to them. And as they come, they are given Nigerian citizenship ID automatically, and in many cases, a voting card. And they are coming. They have already been told that Allah has given Nigeria to the Fulani, and that they should leave their homes in whatever country they are and come to Nigeria to share in subduing the people who live in Nigeria and so on. And they are coming. I went and saw a group like that in somewhere in Yewa earlier on in this. That was in early 2019. I spoke to them. They didn't know who I was. I didn't behave like a big man. I was just a young man who was doing research, so on. They didn't speak English. They didn't speak Hausa either. They spoke only French and Fufude. But I managed to make friends with them. One woman among them had just finished cooking warashaki. And I went over to her, and she gave me some, and I ate it in her presence, right there. That opened up, and they could have killed me right there if I had not been lucky. I was lucky. God was with me. Then I asked questions, and we managed to stagger something. Where are you coming from? All of you are so many, spread out over the grassland. And some said they were from Mali. Some said they were from Burkina Faso. Some said they were from even the Gambia. Some said they were from Niger, and so on. So I asked them, are you just visiting here or what? So they said, no, we're not visiting here. This is our home. Our leaders told us to go to Nigeria, and they gave us our map that guided us to this spot. This is our home. And we are going to, you can see that we are trying to settle down. We're spreading out to settle down, to make settlement, and so on. So I congratulated them, greeted them well, and left. That's our situation. I wish some of our elite would do a little bit of the things that I've done in this matter. That's really putting my life in my mouth, going among those people. And they're here, and they're coming more and more and more. There were fairly few in 2019 when I did that, but today they are in the millions. How is a president going to deal with that?